Are you a boy or a girl? And Mash answers, I'm just a kid.
But kids can be boys or...
They can be boys or girls. Yeah.
Or maybe non-binary.
Yeah.
It was just like non-binary, yeah. That's just something that we know. And this is something, I mean, it's like, they're 4 and 5 years old, and they just didn't make a big deal out of being a boy or a girl.
And I think it was a huge testament to how much we've been talking about it in the classroom that you never mentioned the term non-binary. It was a child who brought that up because it's constantly in conversation.
Yep, you got that right. These are your supposed educators who are proudly boasting about how their hard work of indoctrinating 4-year-olds to believe there are more than 2 genders is actually working. All right, friends, well, let's take a little time to find out what other stories are trending left. And we go from the youngest to the oldest, as there is absolutely no age where the Rainbow Mafia will concede their agenda. Take a look at how this poor old man is forced to comply. Notice, also, how quickly pronouns are corrected as to not offend.
Does your non-binary friend live by itself?
By themselves?
By themselves?
This is an elderly gentleman who grew up in a time where none of this nonsense actually existed. And you are sitting there correcting him. And not only correcting him, but putting it on camera so that you can put that video online. To do what? To show how woke you are and what your bona fides are, that you're changing a generation in a man who so clearly did not grow up in that time period, the time period of reality. But meanwhile, let's play a little word association game. If I say Africa, what kind of color in general of people do you think of? What now if I would say Mexico? Well, apparently professors are now teaching that the term American citizen drips with racism because white people are the devil or something to that effect. Here we go.
I just got out of a lecture and my professor said something that really struck me that I feel like should have been super obvious that I just had not connected the dots on before. And that is the fact that the term American citizen is like a racialized term. It's associated with whiteness, whether we want it to or not. That when you hear the word American citizen, the first thing that comes to mind is a white person. And what's crazy is I have this super vivid memory when I was only maybe 5 or 6 years old. My mom was just about to get her citizenship and she was like, yo, I'm going to be an American citizen. And I was like freaking out because I fully thought that my mother was going to turn into a white woman.
Well, she has other issues if that actually was going through her head when she was about 6 years old. First off, the term American citizen is not a word. It's 2 words, so it's a phrase. But we don't teach things like that anymore. We just teach that all white people are bad. Anyway, we're going to head now to Providence, Rhode Island, tiny little Rhode Island, where it appears a high school assistant principal is soliciting donations from faculty and staff to pay off a cartel that trafficked one of their students to the United States. The email reads, "We have a student who came to America with Coyote, which is a group that helps people. This group gives you a time frame to make a payment of $5,000 to those who bring them into the States. Our student needs our urgent support to raise another $2,000 to meet his goal of $5,000 by February 1st, 2023. So a few things there. Number 1, coyotes are not the wonderful people that she describes. They kidnap and traffic thousands of women and children every year. And number 2, why is the email being sent in the tone of a bake sale? Like, we just need $2,000 to hit our goal for our new band uniforms. She's talking about paying ransom for a child who came to this country illegally by dangerous people. And by you, the school, putting that out there, is that just not soliciting more attention to the school, which contains many children? If they know that, hey, we just have to take them hostage and say, raise the money, we can get them to do anything. Well, finally, we're going to wrap things up with a little money talk. Pay close attention because I'm not quite sure if I should be offended or more concerned why some people feel all their thoughts should be shared publicly.
Has anyone ever actually definitively addressed or answered the question of why white people smell like pennies when it rains? This is not even this is just a statement of fact. white people be smelling like pennies and quarters when they get wet, like when it rains. And it does seem to be specific to white people. Does anyone know why?
Okay, could it have something to do with the bullhorn nose ring thing you have going on there? That when it rains, it's not that you're smelling people, white people, like pennies. Maybe it's just the nose ring thing in your nose that smells. Fact? No. Anyway, it's going to wrap up this segment, but take comfort in knowing that there is plenty more craziness on the way next week. Until then, stay sane.